Hi guys, and welcome back this week for another episode. And start by opening a little parentheses. Our midweek video was not to offend anybody or ridicule anybody. It was made to shed light on the fact that a well-prepared and knowledgeable crew will bring their vessel back to port. And we do understand that stuff happens at sea. Your vessel can have a mechanical failure and such. But what we were trying to bring the point across of was, if you could take away the factor of the boat and crew as a whole in the preparedness, then if ever you need to put other people's life in danger, such as the rescuers and the Coast Guard and vessels that come and help you, you're putting their lives in danger when they come and save you most of the time. And to do that is actually, to do that willingly is something that boggles my mind and actually pisses us off. If you have mechanical issues and you're sinking and such because you hit something broke, something that you couldn't have prepared yourself for, that's understandable, 100%. Please call the Coast Guard. Don't die with your vessel. But on the other hand, people need to be held accountable for their actions. So that's closing parentheses. So this week we're showing you a little few updates that we did on the boat, and spring is here, so let's have fun.
There you go. Kill yourself on the cleat on the dock. But as we're coming to the end of our summer and into a little nicer days, you will see that there's not much ice around our boats. So I stopped the agitator for now and save ourselves a little bit of power, and at the same time, ease up on the lines that are tying up the boat. Now, I'm gonna switch around the camera here and you'll be able to see what I mean. So looking around, you can see that the ice is opening up. It's nice and open. And if you look in the back of our boats, she's not iced up anymore. Even if it's going to be -6 tonight, it pretty much just temporarily freezes up. And I still wouldn't walk on this ice, but you know what I mean. So the agitators, as you can see right over here, it pushes the water and makes a current. And then as you go along, it opens up the ice because there's a lot of current. But yet, if you go between the fingers here, there's still about 6 to 9 inches of thickness of ice. So that's quite cool. Now, the last couple of days, I've been cleaning up the inside and outside of the boat, getting rid of the clutter that we gathered up during this winter. Now, most of the stuff, as you can see behind me, has been either put away, tucked away, and kind of stored. Give me a second here. There you go. Now, in this bin right here, we have all of our immediate fixes and or upgrades that we're going to be doing on this boat. This includes the gauges for both water tanks that are left on the boat. Also, it includes the water maker high pressure pump and a couple of other knickknacks that we're going to upgrade. Now, this winter we did do a few upgrades and changes to the boat, but it was mainly for the inside and livability. I don't know if that's a word, but it's going to be a word for me. So we made a few upgrades, and we quite enjoyed them. Now, we found a few LED lights. We found a few things that are going to help us in the long run and help us save on batteries and so on. And we will be putting links at the bottom of the video for if you find that it's a good idea, if you find that it's something that you could use, you'll be able to maybe go on Amazon where we found them and purchase them. It was stuff that was on the cheap side. They work really great. Has a couple of remotes. And by the way, I might be able to do an episode on how to program a universal remote to do all of your remote things on board. So instead of having a remote for every little gizmo that you install, you have one remote for all the gizmos that you install. And it goes by frequency, and you just need to make sure that the remote that you purchase can cover all those frequencies. So I'm going to see you guys in a few minutes. I'm going to explain to you what kind of upgrades we're talking about. So this is another one of our latest install, and I thought it was probably the best install I've done in quite a few months. And it's just a double USB 3 amps on each port with a little thing here, and it's a flat install, so you don't need to be making any holes. You don't need to have access to the back of it. As long as you have the room to fit this plate, you can install it. Now in this case, I did drill a hole to pass the wires, because you do need a positive and a negative 12 volts in the back of it, which I took the power from my panel. But as you can see, I have a couple of these installed in the boat, and another one is right there, and I'm still installing or finishing up the wiring for it, but it works quite good. And honestly, I don't think I'm not sure about the emplacement either, but good enough for now. And so this allows us to charge our phones without using any cigarette lighters or
wow, you got a brain fart, don't you?
Yeah, cigarette lighters, or 110 outlet, which converts the 12 volt to 110 and then back to 5 volts with a block. So it makes that all useless, and it's quite, for $3.95 on Amazon, I'd say was one of our good buys.
Good deal.
Yeah, good, very good deal.
Yeah.
So just another idea. Now this is another little addition that we did this winter, and this light, as you can see, it comes with its own shade and LED, along with a solar panel and 2 batteries, 85 640s, the same thing as you have in the vape pens and such, or also a couple of those lamps that you could buy for the outdoor garden. Now if you look up here, this is what we're going to do. We actually bought 2 of them, and this is for, usually you have a hard time finding a light to do your cockpit, and instead of using the batteries on the boat, this one uses its own batteries and its own solar. And again, right now it's a temporary install, and it will be installed on the between the 2 panels once we take the condom wrap off. right around here. So, and again, as you can see, it comes with its own stand and everything. So we'll be using this as a cockpit light. Now it comes with another remote, and as you can see, you can have a timer and the brightness, and thank God for that, because this light is so bright that it makes it brighter than daylight inside our cockpit at night. Now I know I haven't labeled the switch yet, but and it does say fuel on the gauge. But don't get me wrong, I did the gauge is actually let me rephrase that. Yeah, the gauges inside the tanks have been completely washed and sterilized before I installed them in the tank. Now, even if it does say fuel on the gauge, if I go right here and I put it on, this side is the front tank that's left on the boat, and this side is the tank that I'm actually leaning on, which is underneath the SETI. And this tells us exactly how much water we have left in each tank. Now, and it's a double positioned switch with 6 prongs in the back, and one gives power and the other one gives the fuel sender unit power. So I didn't need 2 switches to one turn on the power and 2 turn on for the senders. Now the senders I will show you in a second. Now here are the senders, and instead of making a hole in the actual tank, what I did is there was 2 holes for inspection and cleaning out the tank. And what I did is I pierced the 1 3/4 inch holes in the covers. So the tank that I took out on the other side, that was, I don't know if you can see, but this is the SETI starboard side. I took out the port side and I kept the covers off of that tank. Now, I kept those covers to replace this one and the one I did in the V-berth tank, if ever they start leaking or they have some kind of problem. Now, if you can see, there's a little bit of water on top, but that's actually not water coming out of anything. It's the water's so cold right now that it's swanting a lot. And there's not much I could do about it. There's 5200 underneath the screws, and there's the original gasket that came with the sender unit right under all around. So as you can see, there's the power in the ground going to both senders, and that's how we did it. So this is what the first day of spring looks like when you're wintering in the water. So I don't know if you guys can see them, but we have quite a lot of visitors coming to see us. These are Canadian geese, and there's quite a bunch of them. I don't know if you get to see them. And right behind their boats, there's a few others right there on land. Now, if it was hunting season, they'd be all dead. Because, well, I do believe in living off the land, but I don't believe in poaching. And here it is. So we have very little ice left. Technically, if we went out and broke some ice, we could go sailing. This is March 20. So needless to say, we use winter as a time to relax, but also time to do upgrades and updates inside the boat. It's probably the best time for us to do it because we don't cut our sailing season short, and it's quite easy to do and nice and warm. And it gives us a few weeks when in the spring to be able to do the outside. Now this year we're gonna touch up the paint on the outside, probably redo the anti-skid on top, and definitely pull the boat out to be able to clean it and redo the anti-fouling. And the reason why is we've been in the water exactly 2 years. We have scrubbed it and such, and we are in fresh water, which helps us a lot. There's no mustache on the boat or anything, But there is a little bit of a film that's forming, especially during the winter because we don't move. So we're going to take care of that this year, and we're going to put on a few fresh coats of anti-fouling before we go to Halifax. So thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button because we only have about 8% of you guys that have subscribed yet. And that helps us tremendously. And click the like button if you liked it. Thanks, guys.
If you guys want to help us without doing much at all, please click like and subscribe. And possibly that little bell to get notifications next time we put out a video. Thanks, guys.